Jordaniel.
Iain.
Thank God it's back to normal. Who went for a routine checkup and came back with gonorrhea?
Peter Serafinowicz?
No. 2 guys. What? Hello and welcome to episode 170 of Two Guys What's Up, the weekly comedy podcast where I can't understand how coming back from somewhere means you've gone, but that's what this paper says here in front of me. I asked if they were certain they knew what they were talking about, and they said positive. But one guy I'm sure who can explain just what this means to me is this guy. It's Jordan. Jordan, first things first, why don't you tell us what you've got coming up later today?
Okay. Based on last week, I made an offhand comment when we were doing Unit 731 about zombies and Resident Evil.
You did?
And it kind of got me thinking. So I have compiled what is the most often overlooked things when considering a zombie apocalypse.
Oh, perfect.
And I'd love to get your take on some of those things as well.
Well, I just want to let you know, mate, you are talking to an expert. I have read the Zombie Survival Guide. So, apocalypse, zombie expert over here. I will give you all the top tier tips. I will correct Jordan where he's wrong. Don't worry, people. You're in good hands.
Excellent. That is perfect. And with that, Ian, what have you got for us?
Well, Jordan, today, as promised on last month's bonus episode, released just 10 days ago, as one is on the last Friday of every single month, today we're taking a look at the part of near-death experiences that people don't write inspirational Facebook posts about.
Okay.
That's right, Jordan, because when most people hear NDE, they think warm light, love, cosmic downloads, and being told it's not your time yet. And yes, those are very common, but there's a smaller, darker category that doesn't get shared as much. Not because they're rare, Jordan, but because they're horrifying.
Uh-oh.
For you see, there are people who have claimed that when they've come close to death, they didn't go to a peaceful, loving place, they went to hell.
Yeah, thought so. Interesting. Hopefully something I never experienced.
Yeah, fingers crossed. So, in short, fire, darkness, entities, torment, and screaming is what I've got coming up today.
All right, so not really unusual.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But Jordan, if people like what they hear today, where can they find more of it?
Well, Ian, we have 33 bonus episodes, t-shirts and mugs starting from just £3 or about $5, depending on your location, over on our Patreon, which is linked in the description of this episode.
Nice. I'm going to go click it right now.
Oh, please do. Buy a couple of mugs and a few t-shirts.
I will do it in a bit.
No, right now.
No, before we get into that stuff and I go and do all that clicky nonsense, how the hell are you doing?
I'm okay, I think. Pretty much excited, though, because we've got a little road trip coming up at the time of this recording this afternoon.
We do. Where are we going?
According to my diary, we are off to see Derren Brown, Only Human in Hull.
And your diary is your boss, is it?
It is, yeah. I mean, whatever is in that is red.
Just do what it says.
Absolutely is what is happening.
Okay, right, I'll bear that in mind. So what time are we going?
So we will be going about
How does Friday
4
sound? Okay, I've got something on at that time. I'm going to see someone in Hull, some show.
That's the one.
Oh, is that the same thing?
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Well, fucking sweet pal. I'm back on board then.
Excellent.
Let's do it. Nice. And you're coming, are you?
I am, as well as somebody else, Ian.
Ooh, just got a text message. Yeah, turns out I'm busy tonight, so...
Yeah, you are. You're busy. You're going to see that show with me.
No, my dad needs me to help him find his driving license. He said he accidentally flushed the toilet and it's clogged. So...
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Have you asked him to check his wallet?
I haven't, no, because he's of the older generation. He has his things in place. He knows where he likes to keep them.
Well, he obviously doesn't.
No, he just went to the toilet, accidentally flushed it. He's like,
right.
no, my license. Anyway, right, I'm back in. Let's go. Right, my dad can get his own driving license out of the toilet like a normal person.
I mean, it's pointless anyway. There's like 12 points on it.
Yeah, I think that's probably why he tried to flush it. Dispose of the evidence. Sorry, right. Tonight, Derren Brown, 4 o'clock, Burger King along the way. And who's coming with us? Some question bugger?
Yeah, a question buggerer called Mr. Moonback.
Mr. Moonback. 3 amigos on the road.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think Mr. Moonback has ever seen Derren Brown before live.
Yeah, they're good friends.
Oh, are they? Okay.
They go way back.
Can he hook us up or something?
I mean, I'm sure he could find someone along the way to hook us up with if you want.
No, I mean, like, get together with Mr. Darren Brown himself.
I tell you what, bathroom stalls, speaking of toilets, there's numbers scrawled all over those sometimes.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, hook up with as many people as you like.
Okay.
As many bullets as you got in the chamber.
Say it's all Darren's number.
Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me if he's doing some kind of mentalist trick.
Yeah. Goes to all the venues, every stall.
For a real good show, call. It's just the box office number.
Yeah, that'd be great. I love it. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm loving the sun. It's sunny outside.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Second day of the temperature being in the teens. So I'm chilled and I'm happy.
Excellent. It does make a massive difference. I think everybody has been saying how sort of a little bit depressed they've been feeling because of the non-stop feeling of winter.
Yeah, I mean, it's been raining, windy, cold, grey, dull, and then just one little bit of sunshine. I think ELO said it best. Mr. Blue Sky, look what you're doing to people. I'm paraphrasing there, but,
Imagine if that was a song.
There is a line in there where he's like, look how everybody loves you, or something like that.
Oh, and the other thing that ELO are very well known for in that song is Please Turn Over.
Yes, please turn me over. The little secret message at the end.
Yeah, which does sound like them saying Mr. Blue Sky.
Ironically, yeah. I think that's one of those things like, in EVPs, somebody will tell you something sounds like something before you even can understand it. And then you're like, oh yeah, hear it. But because the song is called Mr. Blue Sky, people just assumed that it was the final vocoded lyric of the song. But it does sound like it says Mr. Blue Sky, hi.
Yeah, exactly.
So I always kind of thought that sounded a bit weird, but yeah, it says, please turn me over.
Which is obviously going to the idea of it being a vinyl record and turning it over for the second half.
Absolutely.
What was that really famous one? Was it Green Needle?
Brainstorm and Green Needle, yeah.
That's it, yeah.
There's actually another one. I don't know if you've seen it. It's from the Barbie film.
Yeah, well, he is actually saying, oh, Barbie.
Yeah, it says, oh, Barbie, that's vintage. But it sounds like if you hear it in your head first, it sounds like he says, oh, fuck.
Yeah, it really does. It's so weird. They are not at all alike.
I want to know what the person who was watching that film and discovered that was thinking about. Because they must have been thinking about the word fuck in order to hear him say that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, especially when they were watching Barbie.
Yeah, get that person on a watch list.
So when did you submit that, Ian?
It was not me.
But yeah, those kind of things. There's a name for it and I can't remember what it is.
Mine fucks.
Anyway, I have a little game that I'd quite like to try with you that I saw on TikTok.
Okay.
It's just a stupid little word game and I just thought it seemed a bit fun before we just get into things properly. Apparently this was an old children's game and it's the idea where two kids would go back and forth and they'd make up a little story, one word at a time.
Right.
But instead, Ian, I want to try it with a little difference. So we'll slowly build this short story, one word at a time.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an advertisement for something.
Right.
So we're going to create a short ad by taking one word each, going back and forth, a little bit like tennis, and we'll just see what happens.
Okay, I'm game.
We don't know what it's about, but we'll find out.
Right then, hit me.
Okay. Coming
soon
is
one
great
achievement
of
mankind.
That's really weird. I was thinking of that.
Weird.
Behold
the
pink
rectum.
Called
Stephen.
The
greatest
bum
dilator.
Oh, God. Of
the 2010s.
May
I
please
test
the
product
on
Kevin here.
It's only one word, Ian.
Yeah, well, it's hyphenated.
Okay. That's a weird name for Mr. Kevin here. The
scent
of
the
product
will
cause
death.
Please
don't
use
responsibly.
Thank
me.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, that sounds like the most perfect thing. Maybe it could have been a little trailer before the Barbie film.
Possibly, yeah.
Works at this point.
I didn't see it in the cinema, but who knows at this point.
There you go. That's a little game that you can play with your kids.
Maybe not that specific
Maybe
game.
don't choose the word rectum.
Yeah, like some weirdo or something.
Imagine if they did.
Okay, therapy, now.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I just thought I'd have a bit of fun.
Yeah, and it's always appreciated, Jordan. I love it when you bring these weird little games to me.
Perfect.
Okie dokie, pal. Are you ready to jump into the horrors?
Well, not literally.
Right then, let's go, pal! Right, Jordan, so let's start off with one of the most detailed and widely circulated cases. In 1998, a man named Bill Weiss claimed he experienced what he describes as a literal journey to hell that lasted a horrifying 23 minutes.
I assume that's a very lengthy feeling, 23 minutes.
Especially when you don't know it's going to end.
Oh, yeah, very good point.
Yeah.
You know when you hear of people saying it's going to be eternity, yeah.
Yeah, fucking hell. Huh. So we're starting off strong here because it wasn't exactly a medical NDE. God knows what happened to the guy, but in 1998, he said he went to bed one night as normal, and at 3 a.m, he suddenly found himself in what he described as a stone-walled prison cell. The air was suffocatingly hot, with temperatures feeling far beyond anything survivable, with a permeating sense of complete isolation and overwhelming despair.
Right, okay. I'm just trying to get a picture of this, really. So, is he imagining that he's in this place, or is he quite literally in one of these cells?
As far as he's aware, he's literally there. So whether it's, a dream or an out-of-body experience or something like that, whatever is going on, he feels he's actually there.
Got you.
But then, Jordan, things got worse because he noticed he wasn't alone. Apparently in there with him were grotesque humanoid twisted beings with enormous strength. He said they radiated hatred while they mocked him and physically attacked him with a level of cruelty that felt intelligent, deliberate and intentional.
Ooh, okay.
Horror. It's not as if, they're moving to the other side of the wall and they accidentally knock him with a strong elbow. Like, oh, sorry, mate. They're trying to hurt him. He said he felt every second of every blow and burn, but the most disturbing part is it wasn't even physical pain. It was psychological despair. Sounds like hell, so I can imagine why he believes he went there.
True.
So he said the overriding sensation was total abandonment, absolute hopelessness, and a complete absence of love. He said there was no sense of God there, no comfort, just darkness layered with more darkness. And he later wrote a book called 23 Minutes in Hell, stating that he believed he was shown this place as a warning.
Ooh, okay. Have you read the book?
I have not read the book.
Could you imagine how annoying it would be, though, if you opened it and then it just set alight?
For 23 minutes.
Yeah.
Enjoy hell.
There's like a real first-hand account of what it felt like.
This kind of boggles my mind because, if this was a warning being shown to him, who would that come from? You'd think some kind of deity.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be that anybody subscribes to. I mean, if my wife, sat me down in a chair and started punching me in the face and said...
That'd be hilarious.
Hey, if you're not good, this is what you're going to get. I wouldn't be like, you know what, you're right, I love you. I'd be like, I don't want nothing to do with you for this.
Yeah, and then you just get punched in the face a little bit more.
Exactly, yeah, for 23 minutes.
What's worse?
What I'm thinking is probably the better angle that anybody could have come at this from was show the person the good place, not the horrible place, and say,
yeah,
if you change your ways, this is what you could have.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like that old idea of parenting, isn't it? You could either really go hard at telling your kids off constantly, or you can praise them on the good parts.
Well, that's an option. I've got some serious rethinking to do.
Moving on.
Okay. That was a joke. So, one of the most unsettling accounts comes from a cardiologist named Maurice Rawlings, from his own retellings in his books Beyond Death's Door from 1978 and later To Hell and Back in 1993. Now, this guy spent decades resuscitating people, and one day in the 1970s, he found himself trying to bring back a man who had suffered a massive heart attack. The man had no heartbeat, so Rawlings began CPR. Chest compressions, rescue breathing, the whole shebang. And then something strange happened. Apparently during CPR, a person can sometimes regain brief moments of awareness before slipping out again, like little flashes of consciousness while the body's being forced back to life. And that is exactly what happened in this situation.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah, horrifying. Can you imagine, oh God, I'm alive, I'm still in pain, oh, I'm dead again.
Yeah, that would be enough for trauma, wouldn't it, surely?
100%, yeah. So this man who was getting CPR suddenly gasps, his eyes snap open, and he starts screaming in anguished primal terror.
Wow.
He grabs at the doctor and yells, "Don't stop! Don't stop!"
What the was the doctor doing?
Jerking him off.
Up close.
Don't stop.
Oh, God.
Oh, this is going too dark. I need to continue, right? Sorry, you need to hear this story in its entirety, right? So he's getting the CPR. He brings back to brief consciousness, and he's like, "Don't stop." Which, is obviously, as we spoke about a second ago, not what you normally hear during CPR, because it's not exactly spa treatment. It hurts, ribs crack, and people usually beg you to stop. But this guy, he's laid there screaming, "Don't let me die!" Then the person getting the CPR says the reason why. "I'm in hell," he screams. And just like that, he blacks out again. The heart has stopped. Back to compressions. Rolling keeps working, forcing blood through the body with each push on the chest. And success! A few seconds later, the man comes back around again.
Whee!
Eyes wide, panicked, and again he starts screaming. "Don't stop! I'm burning!" he shouts as he thrashes around, grabbing at the doctor's arm. "There are things down there!" Apparently, what this gentleman could see were creatures moving around in darkness, grabbing him and pulling him downward. Then he loses consciousness again. Damn it, no pulse. Back to CPR.
Well, I thought the whole point of CPR was when someone isn't conscious.
No, it's when the heart stops or goes out of rhythm.
Oh, right, okay.
Well, I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I've recently learned the defibrillation paddles are not for when somebody's heart has stopped. I believe if I'm correct, it's for when it goes out of regular rhythm. The shock brings it back to a steady, like the heart is supposed to beat. So the heart massages are just to sort of get the heart pumping blood again and get back into a normal rhythm.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, sorry, I was just under the impression that CPR was just for people that are out of it and not conscious.
Well, this guy was dying anyway. That's what he says.
Fair enough.
But Jordan, this happens several times. Each time the man comes back for a few seconds and it's the same thing. Total terror, begging to not be allowed to die, describing flames, darkness, and something dragging him toward a pit. Rawlings later said that normally when people have NDEs, they come back calm and peaceful. Some are even annoyed that you brought them back, but this man was desperate to stay alive. So, at one point, he's clutching the doctor's sleeve saying, "Pray for me." So Rawlings says a quick prayer, and then the panic stops. No more screams or talk of flames and creatures. Luckily, the man even stabilizes and survives the heart attack. But afterwards, he refuses to talk about his experience, completely shutting down whenever it's mentioned, leaving us all in the dark about what he truly experienced.
Right, okay.
Rawlings' accounts are obviously contended. Critics argue that he may have influenced patient interpretation, but he maintained that some individuals described fire, demons, and anguish immediately after resuscitation, before or even without religious prompting.
Yeah, what else could it sort of mean?
Critics go, "Oh, well, you said a prayer, so that might have put the religious imagery in their head."
Right, okay.
And that's why they're talking about demons, so it's your fault, really. But he's saying, before I even said anything about religion, they were complaining about demons and darkness, pal. So don't blame me, huh? What of it, bro? So, Jordan, get this. Research by Bruce Grayson, who is one of the most respected scientific researchers studying near-death experiences, says that between 1 and 15% of reported NDEs are distressing rather than blissful. They don't always involve fire and demons. Sometimes it's just isolation, endless falling, or being trapped in darkness. But one particularly disturbing category is what researchers call the void.
Okay.
Yeah, people describe floating in infinite blackness. No light, no sound, no body, no sense of time, just awareness and isolation. And just be aware then, I didn't say nobody, I said nobody. So it's just like their essence, like they haven't got arms and legs and a head, it's just the consciousness.
Yeah, like their spirit, them, being in a vacuum of nothing.
Yeah, just in grand nothingness.
That'd be boring.
Boring as fuck, yeah. I mean, I suppose you'd get over the terror after a while, you'd be like, this is shit. But how much despair you'd feel at being in that situation.
Yeah, that'd be horrible, wouldn't it? Because I think isolation is the killer of anything, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, in that prison segment you did, I do remember saying that if I were to ever go to prison, I'd just be like, yeah, chuck me in isolation.
Yeah, exactly. But that is absolutely the worst thing you can have for yourself. You just go mad.
I'll take the madness.
I mean, I suppose you wouldn't know any different, would you?
I can only go backwards from this point, really.
You'd soon enough have people to talk to, even if it's only in your own mind.
Exactly, yeah. I can invent my own friends.
You can.
Be there in the corner rocking back and forth going, Jordan, Jordan, Jordan.
That's awful.
I would be saying your name, bud.
Yeah.
So in this void, some describe screaming and hearing nothing in return, while others describe sensing distant cries, as if there are others there, but are unreachable. One anonymous cardiac arrest survivor reported feeling suspended over what he described as a lake of fire. He claimed he saw shapes moving within it and heard what he believed were human screams before he felt himself being drawn down towards the flames. But luckily, just before he reached them, he was resuscitated. Another case involves a woman who overdosed and later told medical staff she found herself in a barren grey wasteland. She described skeletal trees, cracked earth, and shadowy figures moving in the distance. She said she knew instinctively that this was a place where people go when they've chosen selfishness.
Oh, right.
Kind of like purgatory, I guess, because, apparently suicide is not a good thing.
Oh, I see.
In the eyes of the Almighty that sends you to hell to teach you a lesson for no reason, apparently.
I wonder what it is about a grey barren wasteland, though, that's the choice for that.
Well, we've just spent the intro of this episode talking about how horrible winter was with the grey skies and, the desolate feeling that you have with the cold and the wind and the rain. I guess that's, imagine that forever.
Yeah. Is that worse than the classic, fiery hot red pit of hell?
I guess that they are their own hells, because one is like, pain, but the other one is like just...
psychological torture.
Yes, imagine just being there for like literally eternity.
Yeah, that would be boring as well.
She said here there was no torture, just endless regret as punishment. So there you go. There's your psychological killer, pal.
Mic drop.
I
Actually,
don't
it's
wanna-
an expensive one.
It was, I don't want to drop it. I'll get one of my old shitty ones out. But Jordan, weirdly, some distressing NDEs don't include demons of fire at all.
Oh.
They involve life reviews, but not gentle, loving ones. Some NDEs report being forced to relive moments where they've hurt others, but from the victim's perspective, feeling all the emotional pain they've caused.
Oh, interesting. I imagine that's actually quite helpful.
Yeah, probably, getting a gauge of other people's feelings. But can you imagine, you sat in your chair right now, you're like, right, you have a little NDE, and your life... Yeah, that's how you die. Your life review is just sitting from my perspective, having you laugh at me every time I fuck up a sentence, and all of a sudden you're like, oh God, oh, Iain, I'm so sorry. Oh, bud.
That'll never happen.
I know. One man who survived a suicide attempt described being shown how his death would ripple through his family. He said he experienced his mother's grief that felt as if it were physically crushing him, to which he interpreted the entire experience as being shown the consequences of his actions in an intensified form of reality. So I guess it doesn't feel like a dream, it feels real and real.
Yeah, and again, an awareness of what your actions are doing to others.
Exactly, yeah. But then, Jordan, we need to get a little bit serious, because then there are the cases that involve children. Now, these are obviously horrible to think about, but when they were studied, they showed curious results. Because in the rare cases where children describe frightening dark spaces or threatening beings, it's been found that they are not culturally primed or steeped in theology. So it begs the question, does religious belief even play a role?
Yeah, exactly. It's like what we've always said, isn't it? When it involves children, they're too innocent to know anything else.
Exactly, yeah. They're not sat in there with some ideology of some greater deity or anything like that. They just live in their life.
Yeah.
They just exist in playing, having fun, and then when they have something like this horrible happen to them and they see things like creatures and pits of hell, pits of fire, what does that mean? Who knows?
Puts more sort of credence to it all, really, doesn't it?
Absolutely. But Jordan, let's address the elephant in the room.
Dumbo?
No, I killed him.
All right.
Made a great steak. Are these literal journeys to hell, or are they neurological? One explanation suggests oxygen deprivation. The brain under extreme stress can generate vivid hallucinations. The temporal lobe, when stimulated, can produce intense spiritual imagery. Certain anesthetics have even been known to cause dissociative, hyperreal experiences that feel more real than waking life. There's also the cultural and interesting factor that Western experiences often report Christian imagery, like demons and fire and judgment, while other cultures may involve different mythological frameworks from their beliefs.
Yeah.
So is the mind generating imagery based on belief? Maybe. But some individuals reporting hellish NDEs claim they're not even religious and yet still report experiences that align with religious imagery. Now, what I'm thinking is that just because it's a common thing, like I don't drive a BMW, but I know they exist.
Right, okay.
So are these people seeing religious imagery because that's all they have to go on when faced with an experience that they've never had before and they know that religion exists and that's what is supposed to happen, in inverted commas, when you die.
Do you think, is this maybe in any kind of relation to the idea that you have with the paranormal in general, which is what you think it will be is what it will be?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a fantastic way of framing it.
Yeah, so maybe that lady who was in the desolate wasteland, maybe she didn't have any religious feelings. Possibly she didn't, given what she did to herself.
Yeah, I mean, maybe in life she didn't have anyone close to her and her idea of hell was isolation.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, that's very true.
So that's what she would see.
Oh, we're getting deep.
We are getting deep. Let's stop it now.
Okay.
Now get this, Jordan. As we know from the bonus episode, people who have nice NDEs report losing a fear of death and becoming peaceful. But those unfortunate enough to have a short stay in hell frequently describe radical life changes. They quit addictions, repair relationships, adopt religious faith, change careers, or even dedicate their lives to warning and helping others, which raises an interesting question. If the brain is simply firing randomly during oxygen deprivation, why does it sometimes produce experiences structured around moral accountability? Is that just you thinking you see whatever your beliefs or you're most expecting to possibly see after death, and you're faced with it, and then you come back and you're just like, well, got to start living my life a little better because I don't want that again.
So for me, would it be, being placed into a land full of zombies?
I guess so. I dare say zombies would be there.
For you, then, would that be aliens?
Aliens and big spiders.
What about big old grey?
Yep.
The small ones, and then you got the leader ones.
Yeah, the mantis f***ers.
Crawling around them as spiders.
Yeah, they're awful.
And they're all trying to go and hug you.
Come on, bud, give us a hug. They're all Yorkshire as well.
But then the spiders transfer onto you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess after a while I just have to put up with it, wouldn't I? I'd just be like, well, I'm going to be here forever.
Yeah, you get tired at some point, won't you?
Imagine if you went to hell and you're like, oh, God, this is horrible. Obviously, like, being put in a pit of fire, that'd be eternal because it'd be constant pain. But imagine something like that happens, like an alien tries to give me a hug, and after 1,000 years, I just give in. What would the leader of this hellish place, what would he do? Like, oh, well, he's conquered it.
Yeah, it's true, yeah.
Can't punish him anymore.
But maybe if you did sort of come to terms, as it were, with what was going on, then maybe that reality as you're experiencing it changes to make it again more frightful, whatever that would be to you.
Yeah.
So it's like a constant morphing cycle of awfulness.
Yeah, if we're going to put ourselves in the realm of where this exists, then I guess there would be the ability to do something like just reset your brain, like, boop, you're here again for the first time, and you're like, oh my God, like you've forgotten the last 1,000 years and you're just there again.
Yeah, maybe there is that too.
We should go and work for the devil, I think.
Welcome.
Hey, bud. You get my CV? So, Jordan, in closing, across decades and different countries, the pattern repeats. Unless we were to experience it ourselves, we don't have proof either way. But the stories exist. Documented, interviewed, repeated, and studied. Experiences have been published in medical journals, researched by cardiologists, psychologists, and theologians alike. So, are these glimpses beyond the veil? Or is it just the brain in its final crisis, staging the most intense morality play imaginable? I couldn't fucking tell you. But Jordan, I just want to know, what do you think?
I think it's very interesting and it's very commonplace.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people saying that they experience things like this.
Yeah, I mean, not just the horrible ones as well. There is obviously the other side of it, as we spoke about in the bonus episode. So if you're intrigued, go sign up for that. £3 for 33 episodes.
About $5.
Oh, $5, yeah. But it's an experience thing.
Absolutely.
And it's documented. And it's repeated.
The only thing that I question about was earlier you said that scientific researchers studying near-death experience say that between 1 and 15% of reported near-death experiences are distressing rather than blissful. Which is fair enough.
Good fucking memory, pal.
Thank you. I think that's a very vague percentage, though, isn't it? Between 1 and 15. Don't you think there would be something like around 15%?
Yeah, I think it's because some aren't reported, some are just dismissed, some are anecdotal. So from the ones that are documented, it could be as low as 1, but from what is the wider report, it could be as much as 15.
Okay, that makes more sense. So based upon the evidence, sort of.
Yeah, depends what pool you're pulling it from, I guess.
Okay, I want it from the truth pool.
I'll get Paulson Bear on that.
Yeah, no, I find it fascinating. I think it's a very interesting point of discussion. And I think, to be honest with you, just prior to this, we were discussing a few things anyway of what maybe your beliefs are that becomes your post-life reality.
Yeah. So my reality is going to be filled with drums, Probably you. Booze.
I was going to say, okay, when you mentioned me, I wondered if, was this the hell or was this the good thing?
Either or, Whatever my reality is, if that's going to become my post-life, then I dare say you're going to be there.
Yeah.
It just depends what kind of Jordan I get. Either the, I believe in you, pal, you can do this sentence, or the, fucking learn to read, you daft bastard.
Guess you find out.
I'll find out, and I'll love him either way.
I enjoy it, though. It's interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, very interesting. So, Jordan.
Yes.
Zombie survival, apocalypse, protocol. Hit me.
So this is thoughts of what could be the most overlooked things when you consider a zombie apocalypse.
You know what? The thing that I think, just before you get into it, sorry, I think the thing that is the most overlooked thing during the zombie survival campaign, and maybe is the word, people think, right, we need to get food. We need to get water. We need to barricade the house. We need protection. We need to form our own little group of people so that we know we're safe and not too many people, not too many mouths that we can't feed, but we need a strong group. But I think the one thing that people overlook is the thing that will make them the happiest in the situation, and that is a good schedule.
Here I was in my head. I was thinking, oh, he's going to ask for like a little dog or something.
I mean, if it helps you along the way, get yourself a dog.
And I don't mean it in any connection to what you said.
Yeah, whatever. But, just schedule, I don't know, 40 seconds max, just to sort yourself out.
Okay.
Release the endorphins, loosen yourself up, get ready for war with these zombies.
Right, okay. I think it'd be really off-putting, though, when you constantly hear the zombies moaning and screaming out.
Actually, it could be helpful, because if you collect it, right, in a jar, like they used to... Hang on, no, I'm going somewhere with this. Right, when they used to tip burning hot tar over the side of castles onto the hordes of attacking people?
Yeah.
Right, so if you collect your deposit, right, and you tip it when there's a load of zombies outside, they're slippery. They can't grasp you. You can get away easily.
How much are you saving up?
They're loot for your pleasure, bro. You're one's got me by the neck. Slip straight out of that grip.
Oh. I'll leave that for you.
Mate, I'm happy to do my part in the zombie war.
Right, well, okay.
I swear that's the last thing I'll say about it.
Yep. Okay, right, well, a thought is, what about what we know of in life now, looking nice and presentable? Obviously, all of that goes out the window, doesn't it?
Straight out the window.
There's a massive loss of hygiene immediately. So, could you just imagine the lack of toothpaste? Or even toilet paper?
I see what you're saying. When you're succumbing to your wank schedule, wear a face mask, because that stench will be unbearable.
Or, what about for women, periods? So, pads, tampons and stuff.
You're going to have to get yourself straight to a shop and stock up on all of these things.
But that's the thing, though. A lot of these shops will be sort of ransacked, and lots of other people would have had that thought as well.
Mate, I'm 6'3". I will throw people out the way.
Fair enough. You are hench.
Just run in. Give me all the tampons.
The other thought as well, though, is that, not to get sort of too deep, but menstrual cups are a thing, so that could work. But apparently that wouldn't be a good idea, though, because if they're not cleaned well, and again, hygiene will be a big issue, that can cause infections.
It can cause septic shock.
Yeah.
Which you don't want.
Absolutely not.
Especially when you got a whack coming up at 4.
That would really get in the way, wouldn't it? Sort of dampen your mood a bit.
Absolutely,
yeah. On top of that, then, even just illnesses and normal infections, I think, would be enough to kind of finish us. So imagine all of the wounds that you would encounter just going through life and trying to survive, that you might even need antibiotics for.
Yeah, I mean, I use an inhaler daily.
Yeah, exactly.
I would be fucked.
Exactly. This is before the zombies even get to you.
Exactly, yeah. They'd be walking down the street. I'm like, well, I can't get to the pharmacy now.
Well, you could, but now there's just massive hordes in there.
See, right, when we talk about zombies, are we talking about runners or fumblers?
I believe the most realistic would be the sort of slow-moving groaners, not the runners.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I think the runners were just added as a later extra fear, because it's like, oh my god, something's going to eat me, and now it can sprint.
Now they can climb, and the gymnastics.
Yeah, It can fucking scale a 10-story building in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But I think it would, because they're dead and they're decomposing.
Exactly.
They're going to be slow moving. So okay, right. So that's a nice established base level there.
Good.
I could probably run to the pharmacy then.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is you might have hordes of zombies in the actual pharmacy, that have broken in and they're just there.
Oh, they've got jobs. Nice.
That's certainly not helpful. Do you know where the antibiotics are? Oh.
This is penicillin. I'm allergic.
And, let's say you just stepped on a rusty nail during your travels. You can't get a tetanus.
Well, thank God I was inoculated as a child.
But that's the thing. Let's say you gave birth to a baby in the apocalypse.
Yeah, that'd be people would be stealing all my prophylactics off my fingers. God. So, God, stop having sex.
If no one knows what you're on about.
Just make yourself a bloody wank schedule.
Not only just that, would there be a lack of antibiotics and drugs, but any that are there would have a very quickly dwindling shelf life.
I mean, on top of that, we're not even gotten to the, food, clean water, infrastructure. You'd have no internet. Power would go down.
Exactly. What about, as you said there, people with conditions? So you said that you need an inhaler. What about people that need insulin? Or even heart medication.
Yeah.
Life-depending medication. That would be a big problem.
They would become bait.
I guess so. I suppose. And another thought I had, I've known someone who has really bad epilepsy, and 2 days without the medication and they would be having non-stop seizures.
Wow.
So again, this is before zombies come into the equation.
So yeah, you've heard they exist, you've barricaded your house, you've looked in your cupboard, you've gone, shit, I've got one epilepsy pill left.
Yeah.
What do I do now?
Do you even bother?
What would you do?
I don't know. Maybe you'd take it in hopes that you'd somehow stumble across more. At least then you've got a somewhat bit of a chance.
Yeah, look under every rock along the way, just in case.
So yeah, I think people would perish pretty quickly. But the question is, in this kind of law that we're creating, would they become a zombie too because they died, or would they have to be bitten to become one?
Well, that's up to you to decide, pal. This is your segment.
What would your thoughts be?
It would depend on how the original pathogen was released. If it was something that was airborne, I guess we'd all be fucked anyway. You'd all turn into one, irregardless.
But only if you die.
Okay, but then again, how would that get through the ground into corpses and reanimate them? I guess it'd have to be something else that brought them back to life, and it would have to be spread by a bite.
It's a little bit like The Walking Dead. I don't think you really continued watching it for very long, but the whole point of that show was that zombies obviously would cause an infection through a bite. That infection would kill you. So it wasn't necessarily that it was a zombie bite, but the infection would kill you, and anybody that died, no matter if that was natural causes or anything else, would reanimate.
Right, okay.
Because it was sort of an airborne illness. It was kind of in your body, but it was inactive until the point that you die, and then you reanimate.
Okay.
And then I think maybe in that case, that would be even worse, because let's say you've got a small group of people, and one of them's not very well. What do? You can't have them amongst your people when you're trying to sleep.
What would be even worse is if you're all fit and healthy, you've got your little group, and then one night, I don't know, great granddad has a heart attack when everyone's asleep. No one realises.
Exactly.
All of a sudden, Mildred's been bit.
Yeah.
Jane's got no toes left because they've been all nibbled. Mikey lost a nose. They're all zombies.
Yeah. That would be horrible. I think that would be the worst form of kind of zombie apocalypse spread.
Yeah.
Another thought is I think the biggest threat after zombies themselves would be other living humans.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the amount of people that would perish in the first year, for example, you'd have little factions, and they would be so dubious of other people.
Absolutely, yeah. I think greed and, the want to survive, that you'd do anything, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and even if two factions were the nicest people on the earth, if they met, the unknowing of what the other people could have the potential to do would drive your paranoia and probably cause that kind of fatal interaction.
Exactly. Or it's that whole idea, isn't it, of, our group is low on resources, and, we found a few weapons, for example, but this group seemed to be all set up. people would fight for their life, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
To take that.
I think the new motto would probably be strike now and just get what we need. If you risk going up to somebody and saying, would you mind trading with us? You know, we're just another people. There's every chance that they're just going to go, nope.
Hello, dearie.
Yeah. Yeah, there's every chance that they're going to, A, cannibalize you because they're out of food.
That's a good point.
Or B, just kill you and take your rations from whatever you've got. So, you know, everybody's first instinct would just be like, kill now, get what we need and carry on.
Yep, ask questions later kind of thing. Yeah. So, yeah, I firmly believe that most humans will be each other's worst enemy, not necessarily the zombies.
Yeah.
Socialising with strangers would just be a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
If at all.
100%.
Other thought, shoes. They'd get pretty worn down. You know, I think you'd have a hard time getting good ones that not only support your feet while, you know, you might be fleeing from a zombie horde or even other people, as we said. Also, good enough shoes that would protect you from a zombie bite, you know, and ones that would fit well.
I think when it comes to shoes, I'd be pretty lucky because everybody would ransack all the local shops, right? But I have a big shoe size. So I'd go into every shop and they'd be the only one left. So I could
very true.
stock up.
They just wouldn't be there at all.
Yeah, people using them as like barricades and stuff.
Little boats. But apparently some shoes as well, if they've been left for a long time, you know, we could be talking decades here.
Yeah.
I don't know. That there'd be dry rot in the soles.
Right.
So you wouldn't even really be able to find them.
So even a brand new pair might fall apart instantly.
Exactly. Or you could wear them, but the soles come out, and then that's as good as kind of not having them to a degree.
Yeah.
I was discussing it with my wife, this idea, and she said, well, I better order some more shoes then just in case.
Oh, well done, Jordan.
That's not what I mean. What about the other thought that zombies could actually be perpetual motion machines? So, you know, they not only break the laws of thermodynamics, but they also are a possible endless supply of clean energy.
Nice. Right. So we need to get our top scientists on this.
Well, we don't, because I do not want to have a zombie apocalypse that I have to deal with.
Fuck. Jordan, you've just done it.
I'm finishing.
You have started the zombie apocalypse, right? You said that, right? Which has set off a chain of events. Some scientist, some young budding physicist is going to listen to this comedy podcast, you know, just to get some laugh.
Some light-hearted.
Yeah, going about his day, right? And he's going to have the fucking idea. He's like, that's so true. One zombie could power an entire city.
Yeah.
Right? So they make a virus in their fucking living room, you know, because they haven't got a lab yet. And, oh my God, the dog knocks it over, releases the spores, and we have a zombie apocalypse on our hands, all thanks to you, Jordan. Well done.
Sorry.
All for the betterment of humankind, he said.
Oh, okay, right, let me put a flip side on that to save myself. That would only work if the winter, the zombies wouldn't be frozen to death.
Yeah, stick them in a room.
Well, yeah, okay.
Get a giant hamster wheel with a 3D cutout of somebody stood at the other side, put them in it, and they just keep running towards it.
That's a good point. You just have to have a bit of meat there, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, interesting. What about glasses or contact lenses? You know, this is something for you, Ian. You wear glasses.
I do.
So when the society collapses, you're gonna be pretty done for.
Luckily, when I take my glasses off, I can see.
All right, so you should ask your question why you bother with them.
Well, no, things are blurry. So,
Okay.
I can make things out. I could survive without them, but things are blurry.
Oh, okay. So if you needed to get that little bit of paper that had some words on to get into this coded locked room where you'd be safe.
Yeah, it's a Resident Evil style dilemma, and they're like, all you need to do is read this 2-inch by 2-inch bit of paper from 4 feet away. I'd be like, no!
Yeah. Again, I suspect that as the world went more and more to pot, that obviously shops would be destroyed, emptied out.
Yeah.
And that would include opticians, I would imagine. So, you know, all the glasses in the shop would either be broken or missing.
Well, the glasses in the shop, they don't work.
But yeah, there's no prescription. So I think that would be also an immediate issue.
I guess it's just more people to use as bait.
Or what about petrol and diesel? That eventually expires.
It does.
I think, is it a shelf life of like 6 months or something?
Do you know what I would do in this situation?
Go on.
No, there's no schedule, don't worry.
Okay. Whack yourself to death. Oh, God, then you'd reanimate with your cock out.
Exactly.
Oh, God.
I would try my hardest to get some animals, like a couple pigs, couple chickens, and nothing too big. I would get like a load of potted plants. I'm sure you can probably buy like a lettuce plant, as many sort of like fruit and veg bushes, whatever I can get my hands on, and get on a boat and just sail out into the middle of the ocean and just try and survive out there. So from the animals, you'd get more animals, so you get meat and eggs and all that sort of stuff, and you'd have vegetables, try and grow them plants. I know fine well I'd fail. Like the animals would die, they'd fly overboard, jump over.
They'd fly overboard, the pigs. It's like pigs really did fly.
Yeah, somebody once said, oh yeah, zombie apocalypse when pigs fly. Well, yeah, there they go.
Alley-oop.
But, I would just try and survive out there in the ocean, because then you're away from all the hordes of people.
True.
You're away from the zombies. You've got, if you do it right, all the sustenance you need.
That's a good point. I mean, what you said about taking a boat and stuff makes a lot of sense. I mean, similar to that, I always wondered why there was very little attempts in films and stuff to move to an island.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's the whole fear of if you're isolating yourself, then you're cutting yourself off from resources.
That is true. But I mean, you're already pretty cut off from resources anyway.
Yeah, but I think people feel more at home, like in their house.
Yeah.
So like, I might not have anything in my fridge, but at least I'm in my comfort zone. But if I'm out on a boat, I'm in a new area, there's no way of getting anything.
That's true. So you mean psychologically it's just more comforting?
Yeah.
Not necessarily helpful?
Oh, God, no. Definitely not helpful. Especially when, you get a knock at the door and it's a fucking zombie salesman. But you're too polite to sort of, wave them away, and you're like, oh, come on in. Oh, no.
But it'd be more like...
Want to buy some conservatories?
Other thought, what about, Ian, nuclear?
Nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear.
Nuclear power plants would be a massive issue. I'll explain. Luckily, modern plants pretty much all have an auto shutdown fail-safe system. Mm-hmm. But we use plenty that are old.
Yes.
They wouldn't really have that automatic shutdown as the new ones have.
Get it installed, people.
I'm not sure you could retrofit it, really, but...
Shut them down, people.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? If the zombie apocalypse happened overnight, there's not really a way that that's going to be a thing. So, not only could there be, like, massive waves of radiation that eventually covers the planet, in that instance, you're done for anyway.
Would it spread out like that, though?
Well, yeah, if you've got nuclear power plants kind of dotted all around the world, not all of them will have these fail-safes. They end up essentially exploding. You've got Chernobyl on your hands, dotted everywhere around the world. That affects how you can grow things, how you can eat, how you survive. There's maybe the other thoughts as well as, does that then mutate in the zombies?
Oh, God, yeah.
Does that mean then that a bite from them would in fact be absolutely fatal?
I think that's always going to be the outcome.
I guess so. I mean, you hear the ideas, don't you, in zombie law, where people might get bitten on the hand and then they can cut that limb off.
Yeah, before it spreads, yeah.
If that zombie is in your near vicinity and maybe it's touched you and it's radioactive, is that another element? I don't know. I guess so.
I'm just asking the internet this.
Okay. That makes it seem like it's real. I hate that.
Sorry, bud. Just need to see what our chances are of survival. So I said, if a zombie apocalypse happened, and sooner or later every nuclear plant eventually broke down, would that irradiate the whole world? It said, short answer, no. It wouldn't irradiate the whole world, but it would be a very bad time in certain regions.
Okay.
So we're safe.
Okay, nice. I like that. Then there's the issue of infrastructure. You mentioned that earlier. So buildings collapsing, massive wildfires maybe even.
Yep. Are zombies flammable?
I think they get affected by it, but I think they trot along anyway.
Okay.
And then they go in for another little hug. That's not good for you.
Warm, though.
Absolutely, yes. Maybe helpful in winter. What about the thought as well that most zombies would actually probably just be locked in their own homes with no real danger to anyone?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, right, in your world here, do these zombies die of any kind of malnourishment, or...?
No. I mean, I guess eventually they would rot out, wouldn't they?
So they are just perpetual until the body decomposes to nothing.
Yeah.
God, what a meek existence.
It's not great. That's why I hate this. But yeah, that thought of most people, let's say that they were coming down with the zombie virus. It was the early days. No one really knew what was going on.
Yeah.
You're not feeling well. You're going to get yourself to bed, aren't you? Most people would probably
just die there.
Reanimate in their own home.
Yeah.
So actually, maybe it wouldn't be as widespread on the streets, as it were, as most depictions are.
Whatever makes you sleep at night, mate.
It maybe helps a little bit.
Maybe the zombies won't come.
Another few more for you. Smoke detectors. Just imagine hearing the beeps all over the place for
Constant
years.
beeps. Yeah, I'd walk out into a horde, just like, take me now.
Like, that would be serious. That would be a thing.
My worst nightmare would happen, though. I'd be like, fuck this. Yeah, just kill me, right? Walk out into a horde, turn into a zombie, find out my ears still work. So now I'm just a zombie and I have to hear the perpetual beeping.
Oh, God, yeah. And then you find yourself getting dragged down to hell.
Fuck. It's just filled with smoke alarms, wall to wall.
Yeah. And you said it earlier, Ian, imagine the smell.
Oh, yeah.
Rotting zombies around everywhere in the hot summer heat.
Oh.
Plus, imagine all the litter that was just everywhere. But then I feel like there'd be an issue with mould. I think you'd probably get mould everywhere because nothing would be kept on top of for cleaning.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would take that long to get pretty out of hand.
Apparently it doesn't take as long as we would think for nature to reclaim the world.
Yeah.
Give it a few thousand years, no one would even know we were here.
True. Yeah, absolutely. There'd obviously be a huge blackout. Nobody's manning the power stations anymore. Lights, electricity, that would all vanish.
At least my kids would never be able to leave a light on again.
But you'd wish that they had the opportunity to.
No, I'd just be happy to be in darkness.
Fair enough. You do like it, don't you?
I do love a bit of darkness.
So yeah, you'd have to just try and source batteries when you found them, or matches and candles for light, or even cooking, I guess.
I might have to use one on my phone. It's fine.
You could do for a little while, Ian, but hate to break it to you, you won't be able to charge that whole thing.
Yeah, I'll just get a zombie on a big hamster wheel.
Okay,
We've discussed this.
You got it. Yeah, fair enough. There'd also be a lack of water.
Yeah, that's the one thing I thought about my boat idea was, how would I get water? I guess I'd have to get some kind of rain filtration device built.
Obviously, pumps would stop feeding fresh water into your house. Then it's also a concern of if any water sources that you have, maybe it's wells or springs that are nearby, that might have been contaminated by zombies.
Yeah, like what if one falls into it and you have a little glug?
Exactly. And they just sort of dissolve in it over time. You don't even know it's there.
Oh, like an Elisa Lam sort of situation.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Few final ones. What about people like you and I that snore when they sleep?
I don't snore, mate.
Oh, you do?
Don't out me like this.
You'd probably not make it through the night. Let's say you found a little hiding spot somewhere, and there you are, like...
I don't think anyone would ever have a proper sleep again. It'd be cat naps.
That is true. But you could get to a point where you're so exhausted that just happens.
Hopefully I'd be in my own house, so I would be safe that something is barricaded. And you know, I was thinking about this earlier when I said about my great-granddad dies in the sleep and bites everyone analogy. Surely through the night you'd have someone on the lookout.
You'd think so. You'd do shifts, wouldn't you?
Yeah, so if you're sat there going... You know, and you attract something. Not my wife. That killed that off a long time ago, the snoring. But, you know, they could alert you that something's happening.
That is very true. And then you're like, but I'm fucking knackered.
Yeah, fuck off. Just 10 more minutes.
Tell them to go away. And final one, I think maybe the least thought of ever is mosquitoes.
See, I don't think that would be an issue because mosquitoes' bodies aren't warm enough to incubate diseases.
Oh, really? So my thought there was, let's say a mosquito fed on a nearby zombie and then fed on you, would that get transferred into you?
I guess it depends if it needs warmth to incubate.
I don't know. I would hope not.
I don't know, yeah.
Honestly, because at this point you've got a hell of a lot stacked against you. We don't need mosquitoes on top of it.
I think I agree with that, yeah.
But a thought that, you know, you don't really hear a lot about. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
An interesting one to ponder, though.
Definitely, yeah. The final thought is, I understand that some people may say that I'm kind of forgetting that we basically survived as a species much longer without many of the things that I've mentioned than we have with them.
Yes.
But truthfully, this day and age, I don't think we're really equipped to actually deal with that anymore.
No, I think a lot of things have become automated and easier for us.
Yeah, we're just spoon-fed, aren't we?
Yeah, we're not the generation we were 200 years ago. Fucking hardened, to the world.
It's true. I think we'd be pretty much doomed, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, like back then, you know, if you wanted McDonald's, you had to walk 800 miles in the snow just to get a goddamn double cheese.
Yeah.
But now I can get it Ubered to my door 10 times a day if I like.
You can. So yeah, there you have it. Some zombie thoughts for you and maybe some overlooked ideas. And I would love to know if anybody listening has their own thoughts. Please do send your ideas to our WhatsApp hotline.
Oh, yeah.
I would love that.
So have we got the number? Let's play the metal version.
Here we go.
And it's also going to be linked down below. So if you can't understand my fantastic growling vocal melodies there, you can just check the description. It's written there.
Sounds good to me.
So, Jordan, thank you very much for bringing those horrible realizations to our ears. I think we're going to have to change our description just to podcast. Because we're getting pretty dark.
I mean, that's even questionable.
Yeah, two idiots talking. We're getting pretty dark these days.
Sorry.
That's fine. All interesting to think about.
Definitely.
And so, Jordan, does that about bring us round to the end of today's episode?
I think it does.
Smashing news.
Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Two Guys What's Up. Don't forget to follow the show wherever you listen to us and maybe even tell a friend. Take your friend to the zombie apocalypse where you've just got the last little bit of battery on your iPod and you decide, well, we'll go out with a bit of a bang. We'll listen to some Two Guys What's Up.
As we're being ripped from limb to limb.
They were hoping for a laugh, but it just didn't happen.
Yeah, this is shit. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, our Linktree link is in the bio of this episode, which you can click on, and it will reveal every single way that you can get through to us, including our new Two Guys Hotline WhatsApp number.
Yeah, send us something. And don't forget to check out the Patreon if you want to help support the show, and even get some cool stuff while you do so.
But if you go out to that, but you still like to help us out, then a 5-star rating and review in your podcast app of choice would be the best and the freest way to do that for us, and we would be eternally grateful.
Eternally.
But on that note, thanks for listening. Y'all have an amazing week, and we will see you next Monday. John, I've got to go. It's proper schedule time.
All right, nice. Enjoy.
See you later, bud.
That I saw on TikTok. It's just a stupid little word game, and I just thought it seemed a bit fun before we just get into things properly.
Are you going to set me up here? Like, think of a vegetable, think of a number, think of a something, you know, and then the end of it, you just force me into thinking about some lewd sex act. You're like, oh, what are you going to do tonight? And I'm like, I don't know.
Barbie.
Shag a fish, you know.
God.
And you're like, oh, who's going to shag a fish?
Especially when your mum's a fish.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
It's all coming out now, Ian.
God, right, yeah, sorry, carry on.
No, apparently this was an old children's game.